This is Ag Matters PM from the Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network, brought to you by the Iowa Soybean Association, your source for the latest Iowa ag news headlines right here in the heart of the heartland. With reports from our award-winning team of Dustin Hoffman, Riley Smith, Mark Magnuson, and Andy Peterson. Now from the IARN studios in Des Moines, here's Mark.
From the Iowa State Fairgrounds in Des Moines, I'm Mark Magnuson. Thanks for tuning in to today's show, where I will be joined by Abby Willson of Shell Rock. She is the winner of the Big Ram contest, and of course we will have her very special guest alongside us, Judah, the Big Ram. He weighed in at 505 pounds, and we'll tell you all about that here today. We'll also be joined by Kenan Layden of agmarket.net for our closing markets, but here's my conversation with Abby. Mark Magnuson for the Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network, and I'm here today with Abby Willson. She is from Shell Rock, Iowa, goes to Waverly Shell Rock, just graduated, and she has the champion Big Ram here. Abby, could you tell us about your Big Ram, please?
His name is Judah. He is 7 years old. He's very friendly. He's like a dog. He really likes corn, lots of corn. He likes hay, too.
He is friendly, and man, he's leaning right up against us. He just likes being close to people, you can tell, and he's giving a little verbal noises too, so it's fun to be in the ring with him. Abby, did you think you had the chance here to be the winner today? They said coming into the contest, will we have a ram over 500 pounds? You did. What was that final weight, and were you surprised by that number?
We weighed him like a couple weeks ago, and he was like pushing 490, so I was hoping that he would make it to over 5, and he got 505, so that was exciting, but yeah.
505, quite the number. What was that last push to get him over the top, do you think? Was there anything special in the diet you had to add into?
A lot of fans, so not really the diet, but keeping him cool was big this past couple weeks because it was hot. And then just the typical diet, we kept him on corn. We added some crackers, not that that adds much, but he does like Cheez-Its.
And then, Abby, I know that when it comes to a big animal winning a contest like this, yes, it's part of taking care of that animal, but they also have to have that musculature, that stature to get to that size. So did you know early on Judah was maybe an animal that could get pretty big?
Yeah, I noticed when he started gaining weight, he's not really gaining the gut. He has a lot of muscle to him. Yes, he has fat, but he has a lot of muscle compared to like other rams. You see a lot of guts and not as much muscle, so I had high hopes for him.
And you know, just watching him in the ring here today, lined up with everyone, I wasn't necessarily sure he was the biggest. You're right, he carries it very well, doesn't he?
Yes, he does. I was a little nervous looking at the other rams when we came in, because they are a lot bigger in their stomach area, and I didn't know if Judah had it, but he has the muscle, so that's where it's at.
And then, Abby, you're from Waverly Shell Rock, as we mentioned. You just graduated. What's next for you?
I'm going to Ellsworth for ag business.
Congratulations once again. And who are your parents, and where are they from Waverly Shell Rock as well?
Yeah, John and Julie Willson from Shell Rock, Iowa.
She is Abby Willson, the winner of the Big Ram contest here at the 2025 Iowa State Fair. Thanks so much, Abby, and congratulations, Judah, who's getting a little antsy because we keep taking his time. Thanks, Abby.
Yes, thank you.
Thanks once again, and congratulations to Judah the Ram and Abby Willson, the winner of the Big Ram contest this year. Let's take a moment now for our check of the closing markets. I will be joined by Kenan Layden of agmarket.net next. But first, a word from our sponsor, the Iowa Soybean Association and the Soybean Checkoff. You're watching Ag Matters PM.
Iowa Soybean Association is driven to deliver for Iowa's 40,000 soybean farmers. We're proud to provide objective agronomic research, a helping hand with soil and water stewardship, and timely industry news powered by the Soybean Checkoff. Learn more at iasoybeans.com.
Joined now on Ag Matters PM by Kenan Layden of agmarket.net for our closing markets. Kenan, how did we trade in the grains today?
Yeah, you know, they say turnaround Tuesday. It's maybe turnaround Thursday today. Had some great market action in corn, soybeans, and wheat all the way across the board. Some of it could be chalked up to some probably pretty important technical levels, which held, you know, like that in corn, soybeans, and wheat, which was good to see that these didn't push through some key support areas. So yeah, just a good day all around in the grains. Exports continue to be pretty good in some of the commodities. Export sales announced in the corn, so the demand keeps being there, and just a good day in the grains.
And then, Kenan, on that export sales side of things, were those numbers from corn right up there in those lofty numbers like we've seen here recently?
They were a little below today, a little bit below the trade expectation for corn. Wheat was higher. China still hasn't come in and bought anything on the soybean space. But, overall, if you looked at, some of the flash sales announced this morning was one of the highest. We've had a very good week for flash sales. That those aren't necessarily delivered on yet, but something looking down the pipeline which has stimulated some potential future corn demand. But I take it all as good news that demand stays strong and it's been strong throughout the year. So with a big corn crop coming, demand needs to stay strong to use up some of that corn.
The markets, what did it look like for the trade in cattle and hogs today?
Yeah, cattle continue to scream higher. Maybe down at one point today, but cash remains strong, and the train doesn't seem to stop there. Those cash prices are still supporting everything here, and market, anytime it shows a sign of weakness, so far has always come back stronger. Hogs a little weaker on the day. But cattle are a bright spot in these markets that we've been seeing lately.
Kenan Layden of agmarket.net, my guest here today for our closing markets. Kenan, what's the best way for our listeners and viewers to get in touch for more marketing information?
Yeah, check us out on the web at agmarket.net and check out our market information and look for a broker in your area.
Kenan, thanks so much for the time here today. Appreciate it, and have a great rest of your day.
Thanks, Mark.
Thank you to Kenan Layden of agmarket.net for our closing market coverage here today. Let's take a look at how the markets wrapped up here on Thursday, and we can find that information under the markets tab of our website anytime at iowaagnet.com. September corn closes up 4 3/4 at 384.5. September soybeans up 8.5 at 974. September soybean meal up 350 at 276.10. September soybean oil down 22 cents at 53.50. Chicago wheat up 9 3/4 at 518.25. Minneapolis wheat up 5 cents at 574. Kansas City hard red wheat up 10 cents at 521.5. September oats down 3/4 cent at 332. On the Merc, August live cattle up 245 at 238.75. August feeder cattle up 363 at 348.65. October lean hogs down $1.05 at 90.93. October pork cutout unchanged at 102.23. Class 3 milk up 2 cents at 17.36. That wraps up our closing market coverage for today and brings us to the end of today's show. You can find all of our content on our website at iowaagnet.com. You can also follow us on social media at Facebook and X. Don't forget as well to listen to our morning, midday, and closing market podcast at Apple, Amazon, Google, Spotify, YouTube, and Podbean. From the Iowa State Fairgrounds in Des Moines, I'm Mark Magnuson. For Riley Smith, Dustin Huffman, Ashton Jolly, and Andy Peterson, you've been watching Ag Matters PM.